You think you can challenge me in my own house? I will deal with you today.
The first slap hit like a storm. Lara's head snapped to the side. Pain exploded across her cheek, sharp and hot. She stumbled backward, barely catching herself against the door frame. Her wrapper twisted around her legs and a bead of blood dripped from her lip. "You think you can challenge me in my own house?" Mr. Grant bellowed, his face red, fists trembling with controlled rage. Lara's eyes widened, her voice caught in her throat. She opened her mouth to speak, but no sound came out. He grabbed her arm, twisting it roughly. "Who sent you that money?" he demanded, voice low, almost chillingly calm, the calm before another storm. "Please, it's my old office," she whispered, trying to pull free. "My final pay, nothing else." His fist collided with her ribs. She gasped, pain radiating through her chest. She fell to her knees, clutching herself, unable to breathe properly. "Silence!" he shouted. "You dare speak without permission?" The neighbors outside whispered through the gaps in the fence. "Is that Rosie's daughter again?" one woman murmured. "Chai, that man is mad," another replied, covering her mouth. "I hope she survives this one." Inside, Mr. Grant grabbed his belt and swung it once, twice. The sound echoed through the walls, bouncing back like thunder in the empty house. "You forget yourself too easily," he said, voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "Let me remind you who owns you." Lara's knees hit the floor, her lips trembling. Tears slid down her bruised cheeks, mixing with the dust and sweat on her skin. She had no strength left to beg, only to pray silently for someone, anyone, to intervene. The door slammed behind him. Silence fell heavy, almost suffocating. Lara lay on the floor, shaking, her heart racing. She could barely think. Before the bruises, before the fear, before the nights curled up on cold tiles, everyone believed Lara married a king. It had all begun 2 years earlier, when she was still living under the careful, watchful eye of her mother, Madame Rose, in their bustling village. Every evening, the courtyard outside Madame Rose's home was alive with gossip and chatter. Women leaned against the fence, whispers floating like smoke through the night air. "Rose, your daughter is still sitting at home?" one woman asked, fanning herself with a worn-out hand fan. "She is fine, yes, but a girl cannot stay too long in her mother's house," another replied, tisking in disapproval. "Work is good, yes, but marriage is better. Time is not on anyone's side," said a third, shaking her head. Madame Rose stood in the middle of the room, stiff-backed, smiling tightly. Inside, Lara hummed softly, her shoes kicked off, feeling a small relief after a long day. She had been humming a song her father used to whistle, and for a moment she almost forgot the pressure waiting outside the walls. Then, Madame Rose bursting like a whirlwind. "That's all you know?" she shouted, pointing an accusing finger at Lara. "Food, music, vibes. You think life is just for enjoyment?" "Mama, good afternoon," Lara said gently, holding up her hands in peace. "Don't good afternoon me," Madame Rose snapped, her eyes flashing. "Is greeting what you will eat? Your mates are in their husbands' houses, deciding what their children will eat." Lara bit her lip. "Mama, I'm trying." "Trying?" her mother scoffed. "Even Uche with the crooked nose married last month. Even she found a man. And you sit here vibing to music, thinking the world owes you something." The women outside peeked through the windows, whispering furiously. "Did she hear that?" one asked, fanning herself nervously. "I swear, a daughter like that is lucky her mother is patient." Inside, Madame Rose spun around and grabbed Lara. "There is a man," she said, voice dropping to a persuasive, almost hypnotic tone. "His name is Mr. Grant, 45, several houses, a man with businesses, a man who can give you a future. Do you understand?" Lara swallowed hard. I don't know him, Mama." "You will know him," her mother said sharply, eyes flashing like a sword. "After marriage, and after marriage, he will teach you how to behave as a proper wife. Marriage is not for fun. It is a shield. It is security, and you will take that shield whether you like it or not." Lara's stomach turned. But he's so much older. I barely know him. Madame Rose leaned close, lowering her voice, almost conspiratorial. Age is nothing. It is direction. He has direction, discipline, a house, a car, wealth, and you will be lucky to hold his hand. Do you understand? Yes, Mama, Lara whispered, eyes downcast, heart pounding with fear and hesitation. Madame Rose straightened herself, clapping her hands once. Good, now go and prepare. By next week, the marriage will happen. And remember, you represent me, our family. You will not bring shame. The next few days were a blur of whispers and arrangements. Lara walked through the village, aware of every pair of eyes on her. Women nodded or whispered as she passed. Men raised their eyebrows, curious about the woman who would marry this serious man. She is lucky, someone said. Lucky? Another replied. That man looks like he could break her with a look. Inside, Madame Rose reminded her constantly, serve him well, speak little, obey always. Do not let anyone see you laugh too freely. You are no longer just Lara. You are his future wife, his shield, his comfort. Lara's stomach turned, her mind spinning. She tried to imagine a life with him, quiet, controlled, frightening, and tried to push the thoughts away. The wedding arrived, bright, loud. A shiny car glinted under the sun. People clapped and cheered. Madams and aunties fussed over every detail. Mr. Grant stood there, quiet, serious, a faint hint of a smile that never reached his eyes. Madame Rose's chest swelled. See how he respects me. Lara is lucky, she whispered to her neighbors. Does he smile? Someone asked softly. Smile? Madame Rose laughed, almost cruelly. Is he a comedian? No, he is serious. That is what a woman needs. A man to control, to guide, to discipline. And you will see, Lara, how life will change under him. Lara felt her hands tremble. The reality of it all pressed down on her like a heavy, suffocating blanket. She nodded silently. Back at home, the reality sank in quickly. Why is the AC off? Mr. Grant asked the first morning, his voice calm but slicing. I thought, he interrupted sharply. A woman of my house does not think about comfort. Comfort is provided. Do it now. When she tried to explain the money she had received from her old office, he backed. Transfer it to my account immediately. A wife of Mr. Grant does not need severance pay. I provide and you obey. Do you understand? Yes, sir. Lara whispered, trembling. Days became weeks. Mistakes, however small, were met with shouts, slaps, and humiliation. A small stain on a shirt became a night of harsh lectures. The neighbors whispered, some with sympathy, others with judgment. That girl is useless, one woman muttered. Her mother pushed her too much, another said, shaking her head. Inside, Lara stopped speaking. She stopped laughing. She stopped existing in her own right. She became a shadow. One night, after yet another beating, she curled on the bathroom floor. Her son, sleeping nearby, stirred slightly. She gently shook him awake. Come, Tommy, we leave tonight, just us. He blinked. Daddy, come in. No, just us. With a small nylon bag filled with their few belongings, Lara took her son and left through the darkness. Her heart pounded in her chest. She did not look back, not once. When Mr. Grant returned, he found the house empty. He raged. He called Madame Rose. She stole my son, he screamed. She belongs to me. Madame Rose stood firm, shaking her head. No. She came to me once. I sent her back. Now she lives on her own. I will not aid you. Mr. Grant sputtered in disbelief. How dare you? I dare because I have a daughter who survived. And for the first time, Lara felt free. The taxi rattled over potholes, kicking up dust in golden streams under the early morning sun. Lara clutched her son's small hand tightly. His tiny fingers were warm, and for the first time in months, she felt a spark of hope. Mommy, where are we going? Tommy's sleepy eyes blinked up at her. To a new home, my love, she whispered. A place where we can finally breathe. Tommy yawned and curled closer. Will Daddy find us? Lara smiled, though her heart tightened. Not if I have anything to say about it. Back in the village, gossip spread faster than wildfire. Did you hear? Aisha whispered to her friend over steaming cups of tea. Rose's daughter ran away with the boy. Her friend choked on her tea. No, but Mr. Grant, that serious man, surely he'll find her. Ha! Good luck, Aisha said, fanning herself. The girl's smarter than she looks. He may be rich, but she has brains, eyes, and stamina. Meanwhile, Mr. Grant sat in his office, staring at the empty house on his phone. His assistant had reported her disappearance, and he slammed the table in frustration. Find them, he barked. I don't care how. That woman belongs to me. The assistant stammered. Sir, legally. Legally? He cut in. I bought her with my blood, sweat, and bride price. Legally or not, she is mine. Even his secretary flinched. Yes, sir, she said softly, shaking her head. Lara found refuge in a small town on the outskirts, renting a tiny apartment with a broken door that squeaked every time it opened. She laughed quietly the first day she entered. Finally, a door that groans like me after carrying Tommy all these years. Her neighbor, a cheerful woman named Titi, poked her head over the wall. Are you new here? She asked, squinting. Yes, I just moved in. You know, small town, big dreams, even bigger headache with broken doors. Titi laughed. Oh, honey, you don't know the half, but welcome. Come, let me introduce you to the other ladies. They will help you settle. For the first time in months, Lara felt safe, and she laughed, a real laugh, loud enough to make Tommy giggle. Life was not instant paradise, of course. Her muscles ached, she had bruises that still throbbed, and nights where sleep seemed impossible. But there was freedom, and that alone was a luxury worth every sleepless hour. She found a small job at a cafe, sweeping floors, pouring coffee, and baking bread. It was simple, but she liked the predictability. The cafe owner, Mama Joke, a spirited woman with a voice that could shatter glass, welcomed her. You with the sad face and bruises. Smile, girl, the world doesn't owe you tears. Mama Joke exclaimed, patting her shoulder roughly. I'll try, Mama Joke. You'll do more than try. You will live. Meanwhile, Mr. Grant's anger simmered. He traveled across town, sending messages, hiring men, interrogating villagers. Every time he called Lara's mother, Madame Rose, he raged. She is in my house. She belongs to me, he yelled one afternoon. Madame Rose, calm as ever, replied, she belongs to herself now. And let me tell you, I am too old to babysit your tantrums. You dare? I dare, Madame Rose interrupted. Now leave me and my name out of your drama, Mr. Grant. Back at the cafe, Lara slowly built a life. Tommy learned to run across the tiled floor, his laughter bouncing off the walls. She began teaching him little things, numbers, letters, and most importantly, courage. One afternoon, a customer snorted at Tommy's messy handwriting. Lara raised an eyebrow. You know, she said, he is probably going to be smarter than you someday, and he may even beat you at chess while pouring your coffee. The man laughed. I would like to see that. Tommy giggled. Mommy is funny. And for the first time, she truly was. Rumors from the village occasionally made it to her ears, carried by the wind or by old neighbors. They say she's gone for good, one woman whispered to another. That serious man can't find her anywhere. Good, the other replied, smacking. Let him choke on his own pride. He thought he could break her, but the girl, she's cleverer than him. And what's more, she took her son. Lara smiled faintly. Clever, smart, free. Months passed. Lara got a steadier job, and Mama Joke encouraged her to save small amounts of money. I don't want you broke the day you decide to fight back, she said, folding her arms. No woman lives and forgets that life owes her respect. With each coin saved, Lara felt stronger. With each day, her laughter returned. With each story she told Tommy, he learned that courage could be taught, like numbers or letters. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Lara sat on her small balcony sipping tea. Tommy was asleep inside. She breathed in the city air and whispered, We made it, my love, we made it. A text buzzed on her phone. It was from her mother. I am proud of you. Tears filled Lara's eyes. She sent back a small reply. Thank you, Mama. we are finally alive. Meanwhile, in another city, Mr. Grant's phone buzzed. A message he had been waiting for. A warning from a distant relative that Lara and Tommy had been spotted. He clenched his fists. Impossible, he growled. She cannot outrun me forever. But Lara's new life was built on shadows, misdirection, and clever thinking. Each time he sent men, they returned empty-handed, often laughing nervously at how a woman had outsmarted them. "You mean she just left a trail of decoys?" one man asked. "Yes," Mr. Grant muttered. "I married a ghost and she laughs at me." Back in the small town, Lara's life began to blossom. She joined a community circle of women, some widowed, some single, some recovering from abusive marriages. They shared stories, food, laughter, and sometimes tears. "I swear," one older woman said, stirring a pot of soup, "a woman's life is like this soup. You add a bit of courage, a pinch of stubbornness, and a dash of humor. Then it's perfect." Lara laughed so hard she almost spilled her tea. Tommy, peeking in from the doorway, joined in, tiny hands clapping. "You see, baby, life can be sweet again." As months turned into a year, Lara rebuilt herself completely. She rented a larger apartment, found a better job, and enrolled Tommy in a small school. She no longer flinched at shadows or loud voices. One day, she ran into an old village friend in town, in Kechi, who gasped at seeing her. "Lara, you are glowing. How did you escape him?" Lara smirked. "Oh, cleverness, stealth, and occasional bribery of taxi drivers. He never saw it coming." Nkechi laughed. "I always said you are smarter than him." Lara nodded, sipping her tea. Sometimes the best revenge is living well and laughing louder than the person who tried to break you. Finally, the day came when Madame Rose came to visit, bringing food and gifts for Tommy. "Child," Madame Rose said, embracing Lara tightly, "you survived. You thrived." Lara smiled through tears. "We did, Mama. We really did." Her mother leaned back and said, laughing softly, "And Mr. Grant, I bet he's still banging his head against walls." Lara laughed too. "Let him. We have the last laugh, and we have our lives." Tommy ran around the apartment, giggling, and Lara felt a joy she hadn't felt since before the wedding, a pure, unstoppable joy. Months later, they celebrated Tommy's 5th birthday. The apartment was small, but filled with balloons, laughter, and homemade cake. Lara wore a bright dress, her hair loose, her face radiant. As she watched Tommy blow out the candles, she whispered, "We did it, my love. We are free. Free to live, to laugh, and to love ourselves." And in that small, cluttered apartment, filled with imperfections and laughter, Lara realized she hadn't married a king, she hadn't married wealth, she hadn't married power. She had married herself. And that was the happiest ending of all.